Yo, welcome to a bonus episode of Bumpin' the Night. I am your host, the Boogeyman, with my co-host,
Greg Turkington. No, just kidding. Ginger Snap. And
the voice with the moist.
Wait, that doesn't even make sense.
The voice that makes you moist.
The voice that makes you moist.
The voice with the moist. The voice with the moistness.
That's hard to say. Say that 10 times fast.
Voice with the moist. That didn't work.
This is my life, people.
Before we start, I had a question for you.
Sure.
And I meant to ask you before the other episode ended. What sign do you think Michael is, and what sign do you think Jason is?
Ooh. That's a good one. Jason is a mama's boy, so I think he's a Cancer. Yeah.
I knew you were gonna say
Michael.
I'm like, hands down, he's a Cancer.
Michael's hard because he doesn't show emotion,
He's
so
Aquarius.
or
Ooh, we're on the same page.
we are on the same page. Yeah, I would say like
an Aquarius right away.
Yeah, he's not Gemini. Yeah, I would say Aquarius, and then yeah, those would be my answers.
Kind of shut down.
Yeah.
Everything.
Aquariuses don't have, I mean, which we'll talk about in Aquarius today on the show, but they just don't have any emotion at all. They're humanitarians, but they have no freaking emotion at all.
They look at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
But
they're just stone cold.
my rising sign.
Well, today is kind of a sad day. I mean, I'm sad.
No,
you know,
yeah,
I'm really sad, actually.
I saw the news, so Luke Perry and Keith Flint of Prodigy both passed away today. That's
What did he pass away from?
Keith Flint committed suicide, according to his band member. They haven't given like the full the coroner report, or they haven't given the whole thing, but his bandmate posted on Instagram that it was a suicide.
Wow.
I know. And then Luke Perry had a massive stroke last week, and then that's what did him in today. And it's just sad because he was only 52. He was only 52 years old, and it's like he just had to come back with Riverdale, and like I don't know how they're gonna do that now. And
he's also is gonna be in the new Tarantino film this year,
which
is gonna be really cool.
I think he probably already shot.
No, he already filmed it.
Oh, so he's done on that.
Yeah, he's already
so
done on it. But it's interesting to me because Luke Perry in a Tarantino film, I think that'd be interesting, And I think that would have been something that would have gave him another life, maybe in film.
Yeah, and I know 90210 is coming back, but he wasn't on board. Like he wasn't. Not that he personally wasn't on board, but I don't think he was going to be in the new 90210.
No, I think
it's Jason Priestley
and Shannon Dorothy. I think
Tori Spelling and Ian. I can never pronounce his last name. Yeah, I know they were for sure on board, but I don't think Luke Perry was.
No, I mean he got his thing with Riverdale.
Yeah.
So.
So
why would you go backwards?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. So on lighter news, I want to since you said that, I want to bring us some lighter news. Joe Bob Briggs is coming back.
That's positive, yay!
March 29th.
And
Shudder.
Remember when he's like, "Oh, I'm never doing this. This is like my last thing."
The fans must suffer.
Right?
I'm pretty sure he's an Aquarius.
Yeah, he is.
And he's gonna do a double feature every Friday night.
That's pretty cool.
That is cool. Friday nights. Sorry, babe, we're not going out anymore.
Is it gonna be live or?
No, I think it's gonna be already pre-filmed.
Oh, okay, good. So they won't have like crash issues again.
Well, no, there'll still be crash issues, but because those drive-in marathons, those are already pre-filmed.
Okay.
Those are already pre-filmed. And plus, he's already doing a lot of conventions, too. So.
Yeah, that's right. I'm looking forward to that. That brings, nostalgia.
Joe Bob Briggs is coming to Sacramento in June 16th through the 17th, Father's Day weekend, and he will be at the Armory, and I am very looking forward to do that. I want to go up to him and say, "You the man. You the man."
No, duh man.
You dumb man. And a new Critters series. That looks pretty interesting. I'm not a big fan of Critters, but
Same.
Watching the commercial or the trailer for the TV series actually looks pretty fucking funny.
I didn't see. Did they show like a thing for it yet, or?
Yeah, there's an actual TV trailer on YouTube.
Oh wow!
They actually brought back you remember in the sequel where like the ball They all
Yeah.
got together and they roll.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they did that. They did that thing, and they're like in a park,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just tumbling down a park, just trying to eat people.
What channels, like, or what?
That's gonna be on Shudder.
Oh, on
So
Shudder.
that's
Okay.
gonna be
Shudder's like the new thing, I guess. That's like having new original content now. Good for them.
Elvira's trying to come back too.
That would be really cool.
She's trying to come back either on Netflix or Hulu.
Ooh, that would be really cool.
I kind of wish Shudder like kind of scooped her up too and kind
I
of had
know.
monopolized that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's some light news because we are going into a very, very dark fucking place. Lords of Chaos. This is our bonus episode, and this is us reviewing the movie. I know that you've talked a lot about this movie,
Yeah.
especially online, and I've seen you've kind of gone into it with some people on Facebook, right? Over the Varg situation.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't anything like really argumentative. But I've been waiting for this movie for a long time.
So tell us about like what was your like history with this? Like why this particular movie?
So I knew about the story a little bit like growing up, but I never got like obsessed with it. And then just hearing more about it as I got older and like realizing, wow, that is a really messed up story. And then finding out that they were gonna make a movie about it a couple like years. This has been going on, I think, for like over 6 years. I know from Jonas Åkerlund. Who actually ties into Prodigy because he directed "Smack My Bitch Up," and that was like
was him.
That was him because Jonas Åkerlund
wow.
was a music.
He was a music video
He was a music video director after he was the drummer for Bathory. So that like it's funny how that all like ties together. But so I heard about this a while, and then I heard he's been wanting to do it, and then I heard Rory Culkin and Caleb Landry Jones were originally tied to this. And when I heard Caleb, because you know my love for Caleb Landry Jones from Antiviral, I was like, oh my god, and I love Rory Culkin as well, so I was like really excited for them to work together. And then Caleb didn't end up doing it. I don't know why.
I could totally see Caleb playing
Yes,
Varg now.
or Dead even. You know,
Or Dead,
I could see him like because I was looking at him, I could see him more visually as Dead, but then I was like, wait a minute, no, I could see him as Varg as well. Which is funny because the guy that
he has that rage, that silent rage.
yeah,
in him.
and the guy I'll touch on this, but the guy that plays Varg looks nothing like the real Varg. But I'll get into that because I think they did that on
He called him a fat Jew.
a fat Jew. He called him that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Varg called him a fat Jew.
Yeah.
that-
Can you
I'm
believe
not
that?
saying that.
No, I know. But yeah, we'll get into that with his YouTube stuff. But I was like, whoa. But yeah, I actually wish Caleb did it because that would have been really kick-ass. And he played a metalhead in Heaven Can Wait, the movie that I was
Yeah.
telling you about. He had black hair.
Which is on my queue, by the way.
You
so.
have to watch. That's a really
Yeah.
good movie. So he has that look, you know. So it's like, oh yes, Rory Culkin and Caleb. But then that didn't happen. And then finally, I know Rory still like was like, no, I really want to do this. So he was still on the project. And then it went through festival runs. So I've been waiting for it, you know. And finally, like I got to see it.
Did it live up to its hype?
I think so. And
For you personally?
I'll state this is probably my favorite film of this year so far.
Really?
Yeah. And we'll get into
Year's
like.
just begun.
Yeah, we'll get into it, but yeah, and that's how I came about to watching it and wanting to see it. What about you?
So full disclosure, I had no idea this was a true story. I didn't know till the day that we recorded our last episode until you told me that it was a true story.
Oh, really?
So 6 hours before I went to go see this movie, I was honestly thinking I was gonna go see a movie about their idea of how black metal was created.
Really?
Because I saw the trailer and the trailer said this is based
on
truth and lies.
Yeah.
And I thought the band was just gonna be an allegory of all other bands,
I see.
and be like a metaphor for that. And then like the burnings, all that crazy shit
Yeah.
that you see in the movie was just like heightened reality. Like I didn't
Right.
even think this was a real story.
Oh, wow.
And
So it probably impacted you more after.
yeah, when you told me that, and then I did my research after, it was just like, fuck.
It's crazy.
So, like, I'm gonna say this just from like a movie standpoint.
Yeah.
This is a good movie. I really enjoyed this movie. It was, and I thought it hooked you right from the beginning.
Yeah.
You know, I loved how they set that up with the narration because it makes you feel like there's a way out.
Yeah.
But then you realize there's no way out at the end, and it kind of like fucks with the audience too.
Right.
And I talked to some of my friends about it last night because there's some metalheads and they watched it.
Oh, okay.
And I was talking about them and they were saying they had knew the story.
Yeah.
And they feel like from like a movie standpoint that it's good, but just from like that metal community,
yeah,
it is divided.
This is such a divided story because it's real, you know, and the fact that it's real and the fact that the murderer is still alive, but the one, you know, obviously that's dead
we
is
only
dead.
get one side of the story.
And that's the thing with this. I never read the book. I read some of it. I didn't get to read its entirety. And I've seen so many documentaries and I've read so many articles and like so many comments and things. So like, I'm not an expert, but like I've done, you know, a little bit of research. I'm not going to say I'm an expert in this at all by any means, but this is such a divided community, and I've never seen a community so divisive, like ever. Even like with Biggie and Tupac, like I feel like this community is just so. It's so crazy to me because so many people side with Varg, who's the murderer. And
well,
if you looked at his YouTube channel, because he posts like weird YouTube in his truck, and like low angle like of him talking and just rambling. Everyone in the there's thousands of comments. There's not just like a couple. There's like thousands or hundreds of comments.
He has over like 1 million followers.
And
like
people side with him. And it's just nuts. And like, this is a guy who had... I guess we should get into what the story is about.
Well, so the story really talks about a young man who created a band called Mayhem. And they start, you know, building up black metal.
Yeah. Norwegian black metal.
True Norwegian black metal.
Yeah.
And they find their first singer dead, commits suicide at their height of the popularity. And after dead commits suicide, this isn't even spoilatory, Terry. Anyway, this isn't even spoilers because this actually happened.
Yeah.
And people that know the story already know about this. But people that don't even know about the story is going to like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's only the beginning.
And
you know?
so... He finds him dead in his room.
Euronymous finds
finds him dead.
Yeah, dead.
And he thinks, he's like, shit. Goes to the gas station and he starts taking pictures of him. He stages the suicide and he starts taking pictures of it.
It's really crazy.
He moves the body.
He moves the weapons in the body.
But the suicide already happened.
Yeah, but he still
Staged
staged it though. Like it's just like put the gun at the right place, the nice.
Positioned it.
Yeah, so I mean, it's still staged. You know whether.
And he takes a photo of it, and then.
Okay, so another thing I didn't know, which was brought to my attention last night, that they actually used that photo for their first album.
Yeah, because it was more impactful. Oh, really?
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so you could see it. It's a real photo. It's their album cover.
I've been going down the rabbit hole for the past few days, and ever since I saw this movie, and to me, it's like. I've been down the rabbit hole and just trying to understand this culture, this whole subgenre, this whole subculture, right?
Yeah.
And it's just like, fuck, I forgot where I was going with that. But the point is that they used the photo.
Yeah.
And no one batted an eye.
Well, the bassist did. The bassist thought it was like not.
Yeah, but the fans, they were like. This is fucking awesome.
Because he knew that was his audience, you know. It's metal, it's Satan, it's death. Let's embrace death. Let's embrace chaos. And, you know, so they, like, ate it up. And then I
say what you want about Euronymous, but he is a marketing genius.
He was a marketing... He really was. As crazy as he was.
He was a fucking marketing genius.
Yeah.
He understood.
He did. And he was so young. Like, everyone's forgetting these people. Well, when Mayhem started, I think he was, like, 16 or 18... You know, and then when he died, he was 25. But they were so young when all of this was happening. And, like, back then, there was no social, you know, media. There was no, like, they literally did it through, like, their fans or word of mouth or, like, what can I shock people with? What can I get attention with? And he knew it.
The one thing that so this is still the beginning of the film.
Yeah.
And Dad killed cats. And he inhaled cats, you know?
Yeah, he
inhaled
And
again,
death.
Another thing, too.
No, that wasn't a cat. It was a bird.
No, but in real life, he got cats. He killed dead cats and put them in a bag so he inhaled their stench.
Yeah, and he would bury his clothes into, like, dirt and dead. And he had dead animals under his bed.
So why in the movie did they have him doing it with a bird?
I don't know.
That was a bird in the bag.
Cinematic licensing, I guess.
A cat.
Maybe it's because it'd be too hard for it'd be too hard to believe that it was a cat.
Showed a cat hanging.
He probably did do the birds as well. You know, I mean,
Probably.
he did it more than once.
But
you know,
yeah, I mean, it's funny because like they all said that Dead would do that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, he inhaled death. Like that's how he got his name.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
and it's sad
And
because
then he's on stage, fucking cutting his fucking
himself.
wrist, and he's dripping blood on people.
Yeah, he's got a sad
Fuck.
background. Like, if you look at his background, like, he was hardcore bullied. Like, he actually did die, and they brought him back to life because his spleen got ruptured, I believe. I believe that's what caused him to die. I don't know if it was for a few minutes or a few seconds or what, but he, you know, he did physically die. And I think he was just a manic depressant. You know, I mean, he was very introverted. He kept himself a lot. It's just sad. And then to show, you know, I just want to clarify, you have to think about the families in the situation as well. It's like when you look at serial killer films, you're not glorifying the suicide. You're not trying to glorify the murders. You know, you obviously want to respect the families.
This is one thing that the film did very well too, and I felt, well, not very well, but very well in the sense where the violence wasn't glamorized and it wasn't romanticized.
No,
it was real.
it was shocking.
It was hard to watch.
It was very hard to watch. It
That
seemed so
suicide
realistic.
scene was just wow. That was crazy.
Yeah, that to me was like the most. I don't know why out of everything that happened, that like, because he just does it. There's nothing like really before.
Nothing triggers it.
Nothing triggers it. He just does it, and like you just think, okay, he's gonna cut himself, but then no, he slits his wrist, slits his throat, and then shoots himself in the head. And they show all of it. They show everything.
On all the information, I'm surprised he didn't do it sooner. I mean,
crazy
to say that nothing triggered it. It's almost like what kept him alive for so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good point.
I think it's the opposite.
Yeah.
Also,
no, I mean like in the film, like film wise.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, like they don't give you any like, you know, he's not crying or he's just like laying there and then boom, he does it. So like visually when you're watching, you're like, whoa, you know, you're kind of taken aback.
I think I just got the impression that he was close many times.
Yeah.
To you know, for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Also, Iggy Pop used to cut himself all the time on stage and bleed. So
Yeah.
I would
he
not.
wasn't the first one.
I wasn't saying he was the first one, but what I was saying is that what I was trying to allude to my point was like, why the fuck as a fan would you want to endure that shit?
Because they were metal. That's what metal was about.
That's fucking crazy. It's like, is that what metal is? It's and to me that's another thing, because like again, my friends were all metalheads, and I asked them, is that appropriate? Is that like why do you guys just sit there and take it? Like I don't know where this dude has been. Like, come on, that's fucking sick. It's like, dude, that's just how it is. It's just the way that they think. You know, like like them personally, they're like, I don't want to do that shit. But like some of that stuff out there, those are people that are just,
you know, and
into
I think it's the Norwegian. Kind of digressing here, but I think it's the Norwegian culture as well, because they are very.
Well, what's the metal band? I listen to some of their songs. I listen to them sometimes, and I can't remember the name, but the drummer would shit in. He would shit in a bottle. This is recent too, and spray it on the audience, and the name is
a recent, like a metal band.
Yeah.
I don't know.
In fact, it was a snap. I read the article in Rolling Stone. It was a Snapple bottle. Like,
that's so gross.
They wear the masks. Oh my gosh, they all wear masks.
It's not Rammstein.
Gwar?
No.
It's not Rammstein. It's not.
Rammstein did some crazy shit too.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to find it.
I mean,
I know who they are too, because I just the name is just out of my head.
A bunch of bands too. Like, I mean, if you look at G.G. Allen, the guy would get naked on stage, would shit on the crowd. You know,
jerk off on the crowd.
Yeah, he would do a bunch of weird stuff. But back to the Norwegian thing. They are the way they communicate is very different. And I have like I used to know a lot of Swedish and Norwegian people. They're very like no emotion. Like they don't express emotion until they like literally like drink and warm up to you. They're just very like you don't know what's going on. And their culture is like it's considered polite not to bother each other and not to like they stand far apart from each other. It's very like it's not like, for example, here in America, you go to a store and someone asks, "Oh, hi, how are you doing?" They don't do that there. Like they're just kind of.
I want to move to Norway now.
But that's how it is, and that's just their culture. So I think like these metal fans, they wanted to make it so extreme, and kind of shocking and like anti-authority. It's kind of how the whole punk culture was, like that is anti-authority. That's why a lot of them were like into the whole Satan thing, even though they didn't worship Satan, but they just like were into like it was an image. That's what this band was, Mayhem. They were all an image. And yeah, I don't know. It's very sad. And you know, so back to the story.
After Dead kills himself,
yeah.
You know, but before that, we're introduced to Christian, and he is a super fan, and he is a fanboy,
yeah.
And he goes up to
Euronymous
and says, "That's a good show."
Mm-hmm.
Euronymous looks at him and points out his past
Scorpion.
and says, "Scorpions."
Slipknot.
Oh, Slipknot did the
Yes.
shit thing? That's disgusting.
Slipknot.
And so,
Which has some good songs.
and so he just points at the Scorpions and said, and that's it. You know
I
what
was
mean?
cracking up at that scene.
I was like, "What's wrong with the Scorpions?
Yeah, they weren't metal enough. They weren't black metal.
Is that pop metal or something like that?"
Yeah, I guess.
Because
they're like hair band metal.
I'm not metal. I'm not a metalhead. I don't listen to metal. That's not what I listen to. That's not something that I'm into. So a lot of the references just like went over my head. It's like, oh, so is that like supposed to be like the 50 Cent of metal or something?
I guess
like
they're
that?
too commercial. They're too like
Okay.
pretty boy hair band sounding, you know.
And after years later, after Euronymous opens up his record shop, Varg shows up.
Which is Christian.
Yeah, which is Christian. Changes
Yeah.
his name. It's like, "I'm not Christian. My name's Varg." Barsikis or something like that.
Varg Vilkanus, yeah.
And then he goes up, and the first thing he does, he picks up a Scorpions album. He's like, "Why you sell this shit?" Euronymous is all, "Well, you know, it's a metal shop. I gotta sell everything.
Right.
Only true metalheads."
We'll know where to find the records.
Yeah. It's always in the back, by the way. And so after that, they talk in the back, and you know, Euronymous talks this crazy shit about Christians and how the churches came in and took over the country, and
they took over paganism and
Odinism and stuff like that. And he says we should burn them all down. And there it is. And that's the cue, and that's what sets off this whole thing.
And they form a friendship because Varg was in a band and he sends him his record, and then Euronymous also was a record. I don't know if he was a record label. Record label, yeah. What was it? Death Like Sentence or something like that.
He wasn't in a band. He was just by himself.
Yeah,
he was a one-man band. Yeah,
Barzum.
Barzin or Barzum.
The Prince of Metal.
Yeah.
He did
And then
everything himself.
Euronymous really liked it, so then he was like, "Okay, I'll get you on my label." And then they formed a friendship, and then the bassist left Mayhem, so then Varg stepped in. And then they were playing together, and then
one thing we should note too is that one of the infamous rumors about this band is that when Dead killed himself, they all grabbed his skull and
the
ate
fragments
soup.
and stuff.
They
Yeah,
ate soup out of his skull.
Yeah, that was a rumor.
That was just a rumor.
Yeah,
but in reality, well, I guess in reality, in air quotes, he handed him all pieces of Dead's skull. And he even gave a piece to Dead Skull to Varg. Says, "Now you're one of us."
Yeah. And I've heard mixed things on that. Some people say it was real, and then other people say it wasn't. So, like,
They say at the end of the movie, he said it was chicken bone.
Okay, so that's an interesting thing.
Yeah.
So that's an interesting thing. That right there was my friend Caesar. He was saying that when he saw that scene, is like. When he said that's chicken bone, he was saying that was just a way to tell him that, you know, I'm taking your power away from me, that you were never one of us.
To Varg, yeah.
So like he interpreted like his Euronymous was lying to Varg that was a chicken bone.
Yeah.
To take away that power away from him. And
like, you're not worthy of this.
Yeah. And so. But we don't know if that was really Dead Skull, and that's another thing.
And
I don't know.
That's the thing. So many people were like, "Yeah, it really was," and then other people. That's the thing with this story. You're hearing so many different things from everybody, like the friends, the people in the band, the ex-band members, the old band members. There's all kinds of different stories. So it's like I don't know who to believe. Like, I really don't.
Varg and Euronymous had this one-upmanship.
Yeah, and the thing is, they were so much alike, yet they were so egocentric and like wanting to prove themselves.
And I thought no scene exemplified Varg's one-upmanship is that when he first came into the inner circle, and
the black circle,
and Euronymous says something about the church, and says "Hell, Satan," and Varg just looks at everyone, and then he looks at this dude, and he just punches him in the throat.
Yeah.
And then he goes and just sits on the couch.
Yeah.
And then Euronymous just looks at him and is like, fuck.
Yeah.
Like, to me, that just kind of showed me the kind of, the kind of ego that dude had.
Yeah.
And just the way that he was just had that one-upsmanship. Like,
he always had to do, up everybody.
He had to do it bigger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so while all that's going on, then Varg is the one that decides to start the church burnings. And, it was sad because a lot of those old, I'm not Christian at all, but I just think a lot of those old churches were very beautiful, and to see that be destructed like that. Thank God no one was like hurt inside the churches, but he's the one that started the church burnings. And then he also claims, I didn't do all of them. I only did like 3 or something like that. Or he got convicted of 3 or something. Then Euronymous was kind of took credit. He was
taking credit for everything.
He would take credit for whatever Varg did, so that pissed Varg off even more. And then it kept going in this battle. And then meanwhile, there's another guy, Faust, who was a murderer as well. He ends up murdering a gay man. And that scene was pretty traumatic because it just kept going on. Like those stabbings just kept going on and on and on. So that's happening at the same time. So you got all these church burnings. You got a gay man murdered. You've got, they're being spoken about and they're loving it. But at the same time, I think Euronymous, because he was so close to his parents were like, I think, this isn't good for the press. So you should like close your shop down for now. So then he does that.
It's funny because, like, according to Varg, that after all that stuff, that the record shop was filled with business after that. Yeah. And according to him, that it was never more busier than after all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then they told him to shut it down. Like you said, it was press. Like, we don't want slander press.
Yeah.
This is not good.
The parents said that?
The parents...
Shut it down?
For Euronymous, because they were like the funders, or they helped Euronymous. They were like very support. The weird thing about this is like none of these kids came from like horrible families. They all came from like decent, good families and like families that supported them financially.
Money. A lot of them came from money.
Yeah, because the parents.
At least 3 of them did.
Throughout the movie, anyway, Euronymous, they always. It seemed like they always tried to give him an emotional, like, show his emotional side. And not anyone else. And also, not to backtrack, but it seemed to me that Varg immediately knew that Euronymous was just a talker.
Like a poser.
And not a doer.
Yeah.
So it seemed to me that was what fueled his, fire. It's like, oh, you're going to say it? Well, I'm actually going to do it.
Yeah.
I'm going to back it up.
You're all big talk. Yeah.
Yeah, and it seemed like he knew that about him immediately.
The thing that's interesting too is that he was immediately like identified as a poser in the first 10 minutes of the film.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden he comes out of nowhere and then he's like the heaviest out of the heaviest.
Also, but it seemed to me
just
that
crazy.
That was his fuel.
Yeah.
It's like, you're going to say that. Like, he went home and thought about it. Like, how do I not be a poser?
Yeah.
And this is how I'm like, he was going to push every limit in order to not. Well, almost like he had no emotion. And Euronymous had emotion.
Yeah. No, like that's a good way to put it.
Follow through.
Yeah. But meanwhile, the movie does a good job of having lighthearted moments at the same time, because
I see a lot of criticism saying that people find this movie funny.
Well, I mean, some elements were funny. Like I would say the first 20 minutes were, because it's like him at home playing metal and he's like dyeing his hair black and his sister's like, you guys suck. And like, and then they party and they just trash their place. So I would say like that stuff is funny. And then the whole Scorpions patch thing. And then when Euronymous first opens the shop, you see like a vase of flowers and it says, it's like from his parents saying, congrats, good luck, mom and dad. And he like hides it. So I thought it did a funny job of that, but it's such a heavy movie. I just think the director you have to remember these were like young adults.
Also got to remember that this is based on real events and on real lives.
Right.
Based on real
that's
people.
What I was going to say. I think it just seemed to me less funny in the sense that it was trying to be a comedy, and more funny in the sense that it was just moments of real life.
Yeah, they're kids. Yeah.
So that's a real interaction between his sister probably many times.
He's got the bird.
And it's funny. I mean, but it didn't take away from the movie.
I don't
the
think it.
depth
Yeah.
of the movie to me, it just.
I see a lot of metal.
A real moment.
But a lot of the metalheads are like,
because I watch metal reviews
Yeah.
on this movie. Like these metalheads, like they live for this shit.
yeah,
And the one thing is that they always come away from is like, this movie is like funny. Like, it's not supposed to be funny. It's like, and I thought to myself, this is not. I did not find myself laughing out loud. Maybe there's like maybe 2 instances where I chuckled.
Yeah.
But throughout the whole entire movie, I was on the edge of my seat.
it's very on edge. It's very nerving. You have a horrible suicide. You have 2 murders. You have church burnings.
And what's interesting too, that this is a true crime film. This is not even about the music.
Right, and he
This
did that
is
on purpose.
Yeah,
He didn't,
and
yeah.
that's what. And Ackerlund said, like, I wanted to tell their side of the story.
Right.
While Varg, on the other hand, is
Yeah.
in YouTube land,
Yeah.
telling his side of the story.
And he's bashing the book in the movie so bad.
And the thing is that he hasn't even seen the movie.
I know. He's like, I won't see it.
Like, he read the first draft of the script, and
Yeah.
he's never touched it.
Yeah,
again.
so going back to the guy that playing Varg, so the real Varg wanted nothing to do with this movie. And here's the funny thing, because back to like the whole fat Jew comment on YouTube, do you think Jonas did that on purpose to kind of like, because the guy that plays Varg looks nothing like the real Varg. The real Varg was like very tall, thin, and like was a handsome dude back then, like had a nice bone structure and stuff. And the guy that they got him to play is very stocky, like, I don't know.
I didn't find him unattractive.
He's not
Like,
unattractive, but he's
he
nowhere.
I don't think he did that on purpose. I was watching an interview with him, and he says, the movie's not even about him per se.
Yeah.
He's pretty much like the backstory.
Mm-hmm.
The movie is supposed to be centered on Euronymous
Euronymous.
and his rise and his fall.
Yeah.
And he was saying that I didn't want to give him any more shine than he
Yeah.
already has.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because he's out on YouTube and he's getting tons of fucking views, and he's saying, you know what? Like, if he wants to talk about my movie, that's fine. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's free promotion for me. But then he's all, on the flip side, he's talking about my fucking movie.
Yeah.
And that's still a bad thing. And he's like, you know what? I don't even care. Emery Cohen was the best choice. So he thought that he encapsulated Varg, or what he thought. And remember, he was part of that group.
Mm-hmm.
He was in that scene at that time.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until like the death of Euronymous is when he got out.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, I'm done.
Yeah.
And so, and remember, he even says this is from his perspective, not
Right.
anyone else's. This is from his perspective.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And it's like I don't know. I kind of think there was a little dig there, though. Personally, I do. I think it's kind of like humorous.
If there was,
because he is Jewish, and Varg is was considered a Nazi at one point. He claims he's not anymore, but at one point, a lot of people were like, "Oh, this dude's a Nazi," and like a lot of his views on eugenics and all that kind of stuff. And to have like a stocky Jewish guy play, I don't know. I just think like Jonas kind of like was having fun with that a little bit.
What does a Jew look like? A Jewish person, a Jew. That came out more
wrong.
derogatory. But I mean. To me, I didn't look at him and go, "Oh, he's Jewish."
Yeah, he doesn't
you know
look.
what I mean? I
Yeah,
wasn't like, "Oh, he's a Jewish guy."
I
Yeah.
think it was what
Like,
the thing
when
was
he
is
said,
like,
"Oh, being played by a fat
but people in the
Jew."
comments were like, "Oh, he's being
I mean,
played
I
by a
guess,
fat
is
Jew."
the guy Jewish in real life?
Who?
But,
Emery Cohen?
yeah.
Yeah, he is.
He is Jewish.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I didn't look at him and say, "Oh, he's."
But
People
the fans,
look-
the
but
metal
they,
fans
they
are
looked
saying,
at the name
yeah.
and they saw that's a
Yeah.
Jewish
Yeah.
name. That's what.
But do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
what does a Jewish person look
Right.
like? Like, I didn't look and go,
It's
"Oh
not-
my gosh, that guy's." Why would they have a Jewish guy play him? I don't
Right.
know,
But it's that his fans, like, who are all into that stuff, they're the
Yeah.
ones. We're not saying this at all. We're just saying like this is what his fans are saying.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think like he kind of had a fun little thing there. I don't know.
And then toward the end, it's there's just a very harrowing scene in an apartment where Euronymous finally meets his fate, and
yeah. So he at this time.
that right there was I felt like I couldn't breathe for a while. Like I was.
So as the movie progresses, you find out Varg wants to take it to the journalists, and like, no, let's have the black circle be known. Let's have us be known. So he has a journalist over, and he's got like all his Nazi stuff, and He
I love that scene. The reporters so it's all about Nazism.
Yeah.
About Odinism, about paganism.
Yeah.
About something else. That's a pretty broad spectrum right there. Like that's a pretty broad belief.
Yeah.
Like seriously, dude?
I know. And it's like all dark and stuff. And like before those apartment was like white and like had nothing. And I just thought that was like a funny scene.
Oh yeah. After the fact, it's white again.
I know, right?
Did
you notice that?
All
like,
that stuff is white.
Yeah,
like,
it was just staged. Yeah. But anyway, so he doesn't want himself to be known, I believe, but he wants the black circle to be known. But the guy takes pictures of him and he goes, "Oh, you can't see my face, right?" You clearly can. And then Varg gets arrested because he outed that he did the church burnings.
Did you see the real pictures?
Yeah.
She the producer showed me the pictures of
the real one.
Of the real one.
Yeah, and he's like this.
And I was like, "Oh my god, you could totally see his face."
You
like,
could see his face. Yeah.
Well, and it was exactly the same as
as in the video.
Yeah.
In the movie.
I was like, "Wow!"
I
and
know.
then when they walk out of the apartment, and they're like, "This guy's a fucking moron."
Yeah. So then he gets arrested, but then they feel like they can't hold. There's not enough evidence or something, so they don't.
They got nothing on him.
They don't hold him. But meanwhile, Euronymous does an interview with Kerrang! Magazine. On the cover has that image of Varg, but it's Euronymous' story and not Varg's story in the magazine. So Varg gets totally pissed off. And then that's kind of
Euronymous
when
takes major credit. It's like, yeah, I'm the one that gave him the idea.
Yeah.
I'm the one that did this, blah, blah, blah. And,
so conniving.
And, the one thing is that when they meet up, when Varg gets out of jail or out of holding, they meet up at this restaurant. And he says, "Look, man, we're going to be famous." Like Euronymous says to Varg, we're going to be famous. We are going to do world tours. All we need to do is finish this album.
And Varg is like, "We don't want to do world tours.
We don't want to do
We don't want that. Remember, that's not metal."
But the thing is, it's so funny to me is that he's so against that. It's like, there's also another scene in the studio where he tells Euronymous, like, you're either about the attention or you're about the cause.
Yeah.
You can't be both.
Right.
And to me, that restaurant scene kind of establishes where Euronymous wants to be. He wants to be famous. He wants to be on par with Ozzy. That's his goal. He wants to be famous.
Yeah.
But Varg doesn't. But yeah, he still wants money.
Yeah. He wants money. He wants
that he's
to
owed,
be the better man. Yeah. Or thinks he's the better man.
Yeah, but to me, it's like he says he's anti-capitalism,
right?
And yet he wants his money.
Yeah.
It's like, you can't have it both ways either, dude.
And he was owed money, though.
Yeah, he was owed money, but that's not metal, though.
Right.
Like, you shouldn't be, like, getting paid for your music if you're not going to go out and fucking sell shows.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, why the fuck should anyone pay you money if you're just going to give it away for free?
Right. So this is, like, all stirring. All this is going on. And then Euronymous decides to write he's like, "I'm sick of this shit. I'm done with this stuff." So he tells a guy, "Oh, I'm like, I just had a talk. Like when you're angry at a friend or someone and you're talking to another friend, you're like, oh, I'm just going to kill him. Like I'm going to tie him up. I'm going to film it. I'm going to make a snuff film. I'm going to do this." So it was just him all talk. That guy reports it to Varg. Varg gets pissed off. And then at the same time, Euronymous is like, I'm going to do a contract. Like, so I'm going to send the guy a contract and just be done with this. I'm sick of this shit. So he does that. Varg receives it, gets pissed off, and he goes, "No, we're driving there." And that was in Bergen or Oslo? Oslo. So, but he lives pretty far away. So he makes...
That's like 400
kilometers, yeah.
So what's that in miles?
That's a good question. I'm not sure.
No one know that?
No, I'm pretty bad at like conversion math and all that. But anyways, so he takes one of the band members or like a friend with him.
Yeah, I think it's Faust, right?
No, it was someone else. I forgot the guy's name. Anyway, so he goes, he drives, shows up Euronymous' house. Euronymous has his hair cut off. He's like in his pajamas. And in the movie, Varg is pissed off. He like breaks in, and then Euronymous is just trying to be like, "No, man, I was just joking." Ding dong. No, I was just all talk. Like, why'd you have to come here? Blah blah blah. And then Varg gets pissed off, and then has his pocket knife, and then starts attacking Euronymous. Euronymous is flipping out, and then there's a scene where he drinks chocolate milk in the kitchen.
Stirs it up.
Yeah. And Euronymous is like trying to find his keys to open the door and get out. And he does get out.
Varg had taken the keys out of
Yeah.
the door, seeing them. So
Yeah.
like planning ahead.
Mm-hmm.
So
Like,
he
you're not
would
going to get
get
out of
away.
here. So then Euronymous ends up getting out. He yells for help. He knocks on this lady's door. She doesn't let him in. He's got blood everywhere. And then Varg just continues stabbing him and is like, you're all talk, big talk. Or he keeps like saying, you're all talk, talk, talk. And then he keeps stabbing him. And then there's that
Which
one
he
scene.
admits.
Yeah. But like the dude's getting stabbed. Like obviously he's not
But he's
fighting
like,
the guy.
He says to him, no, we were friends.
Yeah.
You know how I am. All I do
Mhm.
is talk.
Yeah.
Like he owned it.
But he still gets stabbed. And then blood is like going everywhere. And then finally it gets really bad. And then boom, and this right in the skull. That scene is very graphic and they show the whole thing. And the other band member comes and sees and he kind of like leaps over, runs out. And then Varg leaves. And then through time, Varg gets arrested. And
9 days later.
that's
the
how it
lady
ends.
Came out of her room too. She saw them in the hallway.
Yeah, but she just shut the door.
But I'm saying that she witnessed a little.
Yeah, she's
Some
the one
of
that
it
called the cops.
happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She called the cops.
So-
Yeah, and then
I mean-
the friend was because in the movie Varg is like, just say we went to Die Hard or Die Hard 2
Yeah,
or
we
something.
watched Die Hard too.
Yeah, and then the friend that gets questioned said,
I love his
"Oh."
answer. It's like, what'd you guys do? We watched Die Hard 2.
Yeah,
So what's it about? About a guy that dies
Dies
hard
twice.
Twice.
but then that guy ends up confessing as well, and yeah, it's very. The way
So
it
what
ends
we-
is so in your face.
So
you
what
know?
we don't see is that right after the fact that he picks him up,
Mm-hmm.
is that they drive and they pull over to a lake and Varg ditches his bloody clothes and his knife into a lake
Mm-hmm.
and changes his clothes.
Yeah.
Now, now this is where things get muddy, and this is where a lot of speculation, conspiracies,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people just don't we don't know what actually happened in
Right,
in
we weren't
room.
there.
We don't know. That's
Yeah.
all interpretation of how the events perceived
Mm-hmm.
and the wounds that were on Euronymous.
Yeah.
He was stabbed 16 times in the back.
Well, that's the
And
thing
how-
we don't even know, right?
And- but that's all in the police report.
But then
though.
they're saying, because like some other reports said like 23 times or 36 times, and then you have there's like all these like different claims on how many times, and then Varg is like, well, I didn't stab him that many times because there was glass and he got cuts from the glass, and
But those were on his feet, though.
I know, but he's trying to justify I'm not a
stabbed him twice
psycho.
in the head. That's
know.
That's not self-defense.
Crazy, it's so crazy. Yeah, that's the thing is like we don't know. And there's all these like stories and comments and reports.
He says that when Varg was arrested, he said that Euronymous was heading to the bedroom, and that's where he held the stun gun and the shotgun, the shotgun that Dead killed himself with.
Yeah.
And when police searched Euronymous' house, they found no evidence of a shotgun or a
Right.
stun gun.
And supposedly before even Varg got in, Varg claims that Euronymous kicked him, like, because he was into Kung Fu or Bruce Lee fighting and
Yeah.
stuff. He's like, supposedly he kicked him. So that's what triggered him into stabbing him that many times. Sure. It's just nuts. Like, obviously the guy's in his PJs. He had no idea what was coming for him. A lot of people.
If someone comes to your door
Yeah.
and they have a certain look on their face
Mm-hmm.
at 1 a.m, I'm not going to open the fucking door.
I know.
Well, but he had dealt with him
numerous times.
times. I mean, it's not like it was a stranger knocking on the door.
Yeah.
Because he even said, I mean, obviously the movie is also an interpretation of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
events. So we can't really say these are the facts.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying
No, I'm
that
not
just
saying
like
you're
in a
saying that.
general,
I'm just-
like a general principle is
Yeah.
like if someone shows up at my fucking
But
door
the
at 1
movie
a.m,
even
I don't
tried-
care who you
The
are.
movie tried to cover that, though.
Yeah.
To me, it seemed like the conversation that they tried to...
Like, I have the contract.
Let's
Yeah.
get this
Let's
over
get the contract
no,
done
no,
with.
but I'm saying that they what the point you're trying to make, it seemed like they tried to cover that by him questioning him, saying, you drove all this way with the contract,
Yeah.
1 a.m. Like, he even questioned it,
Mhm.
supposedly. I mean, no one witnessed that conversation, but it seemed to me that the movie tried to cover that base.
Yeah.
Because all of a sudden he ends up in the stairwell.
Yeah.
So there had to have been some kind of dialogue there.
Oh, for sure. For
Well,
sure.
that's what I'm saying. I mean, the woman knew what was going on. I'm sure
Yeah.
she didn't. I'm sure she went in and locked her door.
Yeah.
But I'm sure she didn't run like. She probably heard some of the conversation and witnessed some of the conversation. I mean, again, I can't say for sure, but maybe somehow that's how they got some of the dialogue. Maybe somehow it's on.
It's probably like in that like her police report or something.
Yeah.
Which I haven't seen the police report.
It seemed to me, and again, the movie is not. I mean, it is also interpretation based on interviews and everything, right? With different people.
Yeah.
It seems to me that Varg, for whatever reason, his focus from day one was to one up him.
Oh, for sure.
It wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't about. And it was. He was so driven just to win this competition.
Yeah.
That there was no holds bar. Like it was just anything goes.
Yeah.
And it was. And he wasn't satisfied with until he killed him. Like that was his big win.
Yeah. And he doesn't regret it.
Nothing, yeah. Like
he doesn't regret it. He smiles and laughs at it.
That's what I mean. Is it just seemed like he's like, I won.
Yeah.
Like, and he was the focus. Euronymous was.
Yeah.
He just wanted to win over him.
And I think that's why a lot of metal fans don't like it, because it does focus on Euronymous, because a lot of metal fans don't like Euronymous. They think, oh, the guy was into communism.
He was a sellout. And they were thinking, like, this guy doesn't represent what we are about. He's not true black Norwegian metal. He's not that. And then also another thing, too, is that I find that a lot of European metal fans, like, criticize the American metal fans.
Yeah.
And one thing is that I was trying to make the point, is that I feel like the ones over there is more of a movement. They're more radical. They're more. Yeah. They're about something. As opposed to here, like metal fans, they're about it, but they're about that music.
It's more about the music, not the image. Yeah.
Well, it's not even the image. It's not the lifestyle. You know what I mean? Like over there, like metal is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
That right there is
it reminds me a little bit of like punk rock.
Yeah, it's like the British punk versus New York punk. Yeah. How like, God Save the Queen with Sex Pistols, and then you have like the Ramones just rocking out at CBGB's. Like very, very different.
Yeah, but those are two different crowds, and those crowds right there, like if you go to that crowd, you look a different way, you're gonna get fucked up.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
You know, you go to CBG's, you know, it's whatever. It's like, they're in the mosh pit, whatever. But there'll still be that one asshole that wants to fight. Yeah. Over there, it's you know,
it's like life or death.
It's a lifestyle to them. It's not a game for them. It's an entire subculture.
Like being a skinhead too. Like, it's like you said, a lifestyle.
Yeah, and like. I don't want to. No, I won't say this on air. I won't.
I'm curious. Remember it.
No, okay. I do remember, because I made a point last night. But what I want to say is that it's a true lifestyle, and I think Metalocalypse, for whatever reason, you know, I mean, I got laughed at when I made that joke. The thing is that Metalocalypse, that's like black metal, and the fans really show what those fans are about. Yeah, you know what I mean. And then these American fans, they're not about that. Yeah. They're not that extreme. Right. You know, there's not extremism. They're extreme over there. Yeah. You know?
I could totally. And it's just so funny because it's like they all look the same. Like they're all like super tall. They dye their hair black, and they have long hair. They wear like the bullet belts, like the black jackets and stuff. Like they all have the same look, and they all act the same. You know? So it's like they're trying to be different, but they're just like each other. And I think that's why a lot of metal fans didn't like Euronymous, because he wanted them to have like their own movement and kind of like the communism thing.
But he wanted their own movement, but he also wanted to get paid. And I think that's what really struck a chord with a lot of fans, because like, you want to get paid for this shit? Like that's not metal. That's not what you're about. Like you're supposed to be giving this shit to us. This is our thing. Well, you're not supposed to share it with the masses.
The movie seemed to me like Euronymous was about the image, but not about really backing it up 100%. Like it was, and listening to that interview with Rory Culkin where he was talking about his sort of interpretation of the Euronymous character, and
how he broke him down.
Yeah, and how he said that what did he say? I thought it was funny. He seemed like deep down he was a sweetie.
Oh, sweetie, yeah. Did you see the comments to that? Everyone's like, fucking Euronymous isn't a sweetie. What the fuck does he smell? Like, there was some hateful comments on that.
But in the movie that was, to me, like what they kept alluding to, like where showed him being like hardcore, taking the picture, like this was the image.
Yeah.
But then when they backtracked,
Yeah.
he was crying over the body.
Yeah.
He went downstairs and he was
in
like,
shock.
what's going on?
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't remember the word for word, but him questioning, like, more than once in the movie in different parts, saying, how did it get this out of control? This wasn't supposed to happen. Like, even the questioning the murders, like, this wasn't supposed to happen.
Yeah.
And him not being the, you know, the guy.
Like, fuck this.
Yeah.
And that's why I think Jonas did a good job, is he humanized him, you know? He gave him those emotions. And, you know, I know there was a lot of support, or, you know, Euronymous' family was more involved in the film, so I think that's why too a lot of people were, why are you making this guy look great?
So,
you know?
Mayhem, the living members of Mayhem, they didn't want their music at all in the movie. And several months passed, and then they changed their mind all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's like, okay. Like, first you said that the movie is a big fuck you to you guys.
Right.
But then all of a sudden you change your mind, and then the son of the singer
Attila's
is
son
in the movie.
Yeah, he's the second singer.
It's like, is that what it took for you to change your minds, for them to use their music in the video?
I know.
In the movie? Is that what it took?
Yeah, it's hard to please everybody, you know? Like,
this movie is not going to please anyone.
Honestly, it's a very divided movie.
I don't think he wanted to please. I think he wanted. I genuinely think his purpose was to try to get as much truth as possible.
Yeah. Or as close as you can get.
As close, yeah. You know, and the director himself was in the scene at the time. Like, he was the drummer for Bathory for a while, and if you look at him, like, come on, he's got black hair and everything, and so he knows a lot about metal and all that stuff. So a lot of people are like, why is this guy directing this?
He said that he couldn't do this movie without the Mayhem music. So if he couldn't get the rights to it, like, I wouldn't have done this movie.
Yeah.
And then someone asked him in the crowd, like, how come you didn't use any of Burzum's music?
Oh,
it's like, I didn't want that. I didn't want to get the rights to it.
Yeah, Varg probably would have not.
But then, you know, on Varg's channel, I wouldn't have given him the fucking rights to my music at all. Fuck that. No way. You're going to make me look stupid? No.
I know. Yeah, but as a movie standpoint, I think it was really good. I think it was it was dramatic. It had horror elements. You know, it did have lighthearted moments to break that seriousness up, I think. I thought Rory Culkin did an awesome job.
I don't think this is a breakout performance for him. I don't think it is. I think the other kid, Emery Cullen, I think that was a star-making performance for him. I really do think, because that kid was really good. Because I think he stole the movie. Especially Jack Kilmer in the beginning. Yeah. Both of them are great. Rory Culkin, it's still Rory Culkin to me, you know, like it wasn't Rory Culkin.
No, I just said really. I think.
Oh, I thought you said who. I'm sorry.
Oh no.
No, I didn't think it was like a breakout performance. But that's just my opinion.
I thought he did a good job.
I think he did a good job too. I just don't think it was.
The actor that did Varg did a really good job of the transition of him being the awkward,
goofy,
the super fan,
like the to
nerdy,
being the. I think he did a really good job of that.
Another thing too that people complain about, and I actually had this argument over the weekend, because they didn't have accents, they weren't really Norwegian, they didn't speak with that, and then I argue too, like, I get where you're coming from, but I'm me personally. I don't mind that as much. Like, a lot of people bash Sofia Coppola for doing Marie Antoinette, the same thing with Kirsten Dunst, but I freaking love that movie, and I thought she did a great job. So I let that go. You know, if you have decent actors that are playing these characters, I'm okay with that.
They're saying, like, oh, it's Americanized.
Yeah. But you have Skarsgård in it. He plays Frost.
A lot of them are. You have enough. Is it Finnish or Swedish?
Norwegian or Swedish?
Oh, it's Norwegian. I'm sorry. You have a bunch of Norwegian actors surrounding the background.
Yeah.
So you need to have like two main characters that, you know.
Yeah.
Because basically this movie's not really, I don't want to say for them, because it's really for the American audience.
Yeah.
Really, if you really think about it.
Yeah.
And this movie, I really feel like, from a movie standpoint, I kind of wish that I went in blind.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish that I didn't hear the stories or looked it up or knew it was based on a true story. I wish that I just kind of went in there a little bit ignorant and just thinking that this was just a
Just
metaphor in a movie, and like what they thought that what created black metal and stuff like that. And because to me, I felt like that would have been like really interesting. And to me, I would feel like as a general moviegoer, I think they would enjoy this movie just on the movie alone, because
they wouldn't nitpick on like the facts or what happened and all that.
They would enjoy. They would enjoy the riot, but they would be like, "Fuck, that is crazy." But them knowing about it afterwards would be like, "Oh shit, that's pretty crazy." But reading about the book and what the book is about, because the book's not even a narrative. From what I heard, it's just a bunch of stories. Compiled into a book that was written by quote unquote outsiders. And then there's 2 documentaries about the Norwegian death metal scene, which I watched, and I again went down the rabbit hole the past 3 days. And it's heavy. To me, I feel like just knowing the stuff that trying to separate the facts from truth and the truth from lies. I don't know where I'd stand, and like I don't know who to believe or what to believe, because this story, it's like I don't want to make this comparison, but it's like the Tanya Harding story, where it's so bizarre, yet everything happened. You know what I mean? And in this one, this is just so out there, like you can't believe that this happened.
I know and weird stuff is still happening with some metal bands over there. Like. Hopefully no more church burnings, but who knows? But yeah, it's just, I do think though as a movie, I think Jonas did a really good job.
And they shot it in 18 days.
That I know. When I heard that, I was insane. Like, what?
That was insane.
I want to know how he did the church burnings. I want to know if he did miniature, was it miniature models that they did? Do you know? I couldn't find anything. He didn't say,
but he said they shot the church burnings all in one day.
Yeah.
All in one day. That's crazy.
But I wonder if it was like, like when they do miniature models for scenes. I wonder if that's what they did. Because that was that one thing was so elaborate.
They said the only thing that took long was the hotel, the apartment scene.
Oh, the murder scene.
Yeah, the murder scene. That was the only thing that took long.
Did you hear that Rory Culkin had a dream of Euronymous the night before they shot that?
No.
You didn't? It's interesting. So he was on, Sway, the guy.
Oh, I didn't get to that part. Okay.
You should watch, so I watched that, and Rory was like, actually I had a dream of Euronymous before we shot that, the night before we shot the murder scene, and he came to me and he didn't know he was dead. And he thought he was still alive, and he thought he had a wife, and so he's like, it was kind of took me out. It was a little weird. Wow. So it was like a blessing, like, oh, you have my blessing to play Euronymous. But it's pretty trippy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I know Erin Cohen and Rory Culkin, they did an interview, and Roy was all like, You really hurt me, dude.
Oh, yeah. I saw that.
You really laid into it, man. Like, you bruised my back, but it's all good because it came out well, so we're good. I thought that was hilarious.
That was funny.
And the, what's his name? The actor that played Varg, he seemed all annoyed with it. He's like, come on,
Cohen,
man.
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Like, come on, dude. Seriously?
And then you have Jonas, who's like so serious. Every interview you watch, he's so serious.
I thought Rory Culkin's character, Euronymous, looked a lot like Jonas.
He did, right? The black hair and stuff. Kind of like Tommy Wiseau.
Oh
yeah.
Yeah, totally. He totally did.
Even his face.
Yeah.
Like, that's how he looked when he was young, maybe.
I could totally see that. But yeah, as a movie, like I give this like a 3 out of 4.
3 out of 4?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
3 out of 5. What happened to 5?
Are we doing 5? Okay, 4 out of 5. Trying to get that all in one click.
Hold on, I'm confused. I thought it was always 5 snaps.
Is it 5?
Because I do 5 Z's.
All right, so it's 4 snaps. No.
Oh, it's 4 snaps?
It is official. It's 5.
Okay.
From now on
it is 5.
Okay,
5 is a weird number. I don't like the number 5, so maybe that's it.
Because it's got to be odd.
Okay, well, so I give it 4 out of 5.
4 out of 5?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't want to be like a hypocrite, and I don't want. I've been known to bitch about biopics.
Yeah.
And like Bohemian Rhapsody,
which I have not seen.
The whole context of that whole performance is just something that I don't like, and I don't like the fact that it was because of him coming out to his band members saying that he had AIDS is because he had the performance of a lifetime.
What? For real? They do that?
Yeah, they do that. Before that, he comes out and tells his band that he has AIDS.
Wow.
And then that's the context of him having that performance. And so, but it's there for the audience to be like, oh my God.
It's funny you mentioned that because a lot of the people that like Lords of Chaos are saying that about Bohemian Rhapsody. They're like, I didn't like it because it was too about the music for every word or every.
You know what? I would have. If Bohemian Rhapsody would have focused on the music, I think I would have liked I think I would like the movie more.
Oh, okay.
But it focused on the wrong aspects of his life.
I see.
But the wrong aspects of his life they tried to demonize, which they shouldn't have. They shouldn't have done that. It's like
how weird.
That's not what Freddie was about.
Yeah.
And the band had influence on the movie, and so originally what they wanted to do is they wanted to kill Freddie midway through the movie and make the rest of the movie about the band.
Oh wow.
It's like no one wants to see. I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful or anything, but no one wants to see you guys. Yeah, we're coming to the theater to see Freddie Mercury.
Yeah,
you know,
it's hard. It is really hard for music biopics. I mean, it's no one. I'm trying to think of one that did it really well. I don't know.
I don't think so because then, like the Jimi Hendrix one, By My Side. There's a scene in there where he beats a woman. Yeah, and then one of the girls that was actually still alive. That was one of Jimmy's lovers. She said Jimmy was never violent toward women. Wow. And the fact that you guys did that was a travesty. That is bullshit.
It's hard. And I'm like the Johnny Cash one was pretty good though. Walk the Line.
The Johnny Cash one was pretty good, but then when you start digging into it, you find out there's a lot more.
Yeah, they didn't show a lot in that, and actually he did kind of messed up stuff that they didn't get into. Sid and Nancy was pretty good.
Sid and Nancy,
because they left that ending because no one really knows what happened there either. If he murdered her, if he accidentally did it, or someone else murdered her, they kind of left it open ended. I think, which was nice.
Yeah. So to me, like I've always been like I harp on this. Like I understand cinematic licensing. I understand that you need to do certain things. Like Straight Outta Compton. Yeah. I was a big critic of that movie because. I understand where these fans are coming from. Like, fans of Mayhem and Burzum. Like, I understand where they're coming from because they know their story. Yeah. I know that story so well because I watched the documentaries. I read the books. I read the interviews.
And you were a fan.
And that was the first CD I bought as a kid. Yeah. And so, to me, it's like, watching Straight Outta Compton and watching the movie, I'm like...
You're more critical of it, right?
I'm like, that's not what happened. I know that's not what happened.
It's hard to separate it, you know?
and that's the thing. It's like... I understand that you want to have the fans on your side, but they're already on your side. Right. The way they came up with Fuck the Police is that they shot people with a paintball gun with red paint. Yeah. During drive-bys. Mm-hmm. They got pulled over by the cops and then they got beat up by the cops. Yeah. That's what happened. That's why they did that song. Yeah.
The movie doesn't show that.
The movie doesn't show that. They show them hanging out in front of a studio and they get harassed by cops. And then it's Jerry Heller, their manager at the time.
Oh, I saw that scene. Yeah.
And say, you can't do this to them. These are artists.
Right. And that's not what happened.
That's not what happened. And on top of that, it's fact because it is stated on video.
Yeah. It's so hard. And it's like, I know for you, like there's an Elton John one coming out. I actually really want to see that because I really like that actor. But I'm hoping that's going to be a bit... I know for years and years, like, I've been waiting for a Kurt Cobain one, and that has not happened. I know Courtney Love...
I don't want that.
You don't want Nirvana?
I don't want that.
I do.
I'm going to tell you why. Because they're going to fuck up that story.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
And they're going to totally demonize Kurt. If Courtney is involved, they're going to make him look weak, and it's going to play into her...
But here's the thing with that. Agenda. If she's not involved, then they're going to make her... They're going to do the same thing to her. Because I don't know if you've seen Kurt and Courtney are soaked in bleach. A lot of people think that she had something to do with it.
There was 2 documentaries about Kurt. About Kurt Cobain. And one of them, I can't remember. There's one that was made with like home videos.
Is it soaked in bleach?
Is that it? Yeah, it's the one that was made with a bunch of unused home videos and like animation and stuff.
Oh yeah, the one that the guy from Death Cab for Cutie did the soundtrack to.
Yeah, I think so. And so
about a son.
Yeah, and so it was like they smashed that documentary because it was like that's garbage. It wasn't the content; it was just the way that it was presented.
She was involved in that, I think.
Was she? Maybe
but she was not involved in Kurt and Courtney, where she gets bashed. So it's hard, right? Because like,
and I was trying to say too is like you gotta separate yourself. So I understand where these fans are coming from because like I felt the same way about Straight Outta Compton.
Yeah.
Like that's not what happened. I know what happened.
Yeah.
And so like as someone that's there and just that knows the story, it's just like
You're just gonna be
you
like
need to
criticizing it.
You need to separate yourself from the source material
know.
and be objective.
Yeah, and that's really
Because
hard for fans.
And if you can't be objective, you can't enjoy the movie. I understand what the movie did, and I understand like why they did that. But at the same time, you made everyone look bad, and like this movie did the same. Like Lords of Chaos did the exact same thing.
Yeah. So I think if we were to, I mean, I recommend this film, and my recommendation is if you are a hardcore fan, kind of separate yourself.
But that's hard though.
It is hard,
because I know from experience, because like again, fighting with my family.
Yeah.
I'm a big
I want to
wrestling
see that.
fan. I'm a big wrestling fan. And I love Paige. She is a great wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
But what they do to her is not her story. It's not her real story.
Is that out yet or no?
Yeah, it's out on theaters. So what they do is that they make her feel like she's unsure about wrestling, when in reality, she is a natural. She is a natural. She won championships like in London and in NXT. But the movie ends is with her winning the biggest championship on the biggest night of her life. That's her Monday Night Raw debut, and that's where the film ends. So I understand that journey because you got to get the audience there.
Yeah.
Because you want that emotional.
Arc.
You want that emotional journey. So I understand that. So to me, I can't sit here and give this like a really good rating if I'm gonna bash these other biopics for the same reason.
Well, so okay, why don't you rate it if you take yourself, since you didn't know?
So
how about that way? Since you didn't know,
I didn't know. I'd probably give this a 3.
I did not know, or what was that?
I did not.
No, when we were rehearsing that one day, I didn't ever know, or something.
I didn't ever know.
Yeah.
I didn't ever know. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, so that's funny.
Yeah. Sorry, it's a little
That's
humor.
funny.
Yeah.
Has no
Inside
idea
joke.
what we're
Inside
talking
joke.
Inside joke. Yeah.
Sorry guys. Had I not done my research and had you not told me this was a true story,
It's all my fault.
No, I would have.
I know. I'm just
It's
kidding.
always your fault.
Just kidding.
I would have done it because I would have read about it.
Yeah.
But or she would have said something about it too. It was like, oh, this is a true story,
Mm-hmm.
and then I would have gone into the rabbit hole like I did. Had I not known any of this, I'd give it a 3.
Okay. Out of
3
5.
Z's out of 5.
Okay.
Really?
Yeah. To me, it was. I guess what I was expecting was not what I was expecting. Like I was expecting a music biopic, not a true crime biopic. So my state of mind was different.
Wait, you were expecting a music?
No, I was expecting music, like an actual music biopic. Because just from the trailer, I thought it was about the genre. That's what I thought. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I didn't know it was about the true crime or anything like that. So I thought all that stuff just resonated from the music for them to like.
I see.
To do more music.
Okay.
So that's why. But just knowing all that, I would have to give it a 2.
Wow,
Yeah,
really?
I would, because if I'm gonna bash like Straight Outta Compton, Fighting with My Family, I understand all those are different, but they're biopics. They're the same, and they're dealing with real lives and real situations. And I look at Goodfellas differently now, knowing the story about Paul Vario and Tommy DeSimone. I look at that film differently now.
Yeah.
Now I know Paulie wasn't a good guy now. And I know Henry Hill was a dirtbag.
But that's still a good movie, though.
It's
for
still
what
a
it
good
is.
movie, but
Yeah, did it entertain you?
it entertained me. Yes,
Did Lords of Chaos entertain you?
it did entertain me, and that's what I'm trying to get
I feel
at.
like
though.
a 2 is so low. That is such a
But
low
That's a
rating.
movie that did not entertain you.
No, I mean, again, like I can't be. I feel like I'd be hypocritical and giving this a higher rating if I would be giving these other movies lower ratings too. But I would probably give them lower ratings too because I know the story.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a stupid movie. Can't even.
What was?
What?
Straight Outta Compton.
Oh.
But like again, it's just that's just where I'm coming from, and that's just
Okay.
like it's not personal, it's not anything, but it's like I honestly don't think biopics should be like a real thing because there's just so much you can get right or there's so much you can get wrong. You're
either gonna like it or you're not.
Yeah, but you're dealing with real people's
people,
lives that
yeah.
are still living to this day.
Yeah.
And that's something that is just like, I don't know.
It's tricky. It's
And like you said, I should separate myself from that equation and just watch it objectively.
for what it is,
But I can't do that just yet because I haven't learned how to do that. Especially when it comes to music, because I love music.
Yeah.
And just like I don't know. I'm sorry, I just can't do it.
Yeah, I mean, I felt that way about Sid and Nancy, you know? Like, that was one of the films because they made Nancy just so repulsive and, like, a lot of people hated her, so they really showed that, and it was, like, kind of sad.
But then when you read about her, it's like, it's a different take on her.
It's a different take, and you hear from other people, actually, she was really caring, and she wanted the best for Sid, and then...
Yeah. She used to breastfeed him.
You know, you hear, like, all
real?
these...
Yeah.
Seriously?
He, like, sucked on her nipples and stuff.
Well, but they did it... like he was breastfeeding.
Wow.
That was
Kinky.
part of their... It wasn't a kink. It wasn't sexual.
No?
It wasn't.
Just nurturing?
I read I think a book her sister had written about her.
Yeah, they made her like a monster in the movie, you know, and then... But yeah,
probably
it's
far from that.
It's,
and again, you know, it's just,
hard to separate. But as a movie, I enjoyed it for what it was, so I can
there's
like
a difference
detach.
between based on a true story and adapted from a true story.
Right.
So that's another thing.
Yeah, that's why I'm looking for the Elton John one, but we'll see.
Well,
I do want a Kurt one. I really want a Kurt Cobain one.
I don't want that. I don't want that. I want the mystique of Kurt Cobain left alone because Kurt Cobain was, he was mysterious. He didn't let you in. And I feel like a movie would ruin that and ruin his mystique.
That's every artist.
Yeah, but I honestly... yeah.
Every artist is like that.
Fair enough. But to me, like, I wouldn't want a Prince biopic because I don't want to know about Prince. You know what I mean?
Prince already did before
Purple
he
Rain.
died.
Yeah,
Purple
He
Rain.
did his own movie.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was like
Biography.
based on him. I thought that was just something he just did. It's like, you want to make a movie about myself?
What? No, that was about his life.
Was it really?
Technically, yeah, I guess.
Cinematic licensing again. Strikes
No,
again.
I think that he purposely did that movie like about his life.
Really?
Like, it was, yeah. Like,
I know
with-
Dove's Cry was
with his
really based on
parents
his
and-
life,
Doves cry.
but yeah, I don't know. Huh.
But all right, so you're giving this a 2 out
I
of 5.
give it
That's so
2,
fucking
but-
low. That's not metal, dude.
I know.
That's not Norwegian black metal.
I will say though, because I did watch Heavy Trip last night, and
I want to watch that. I haven't
oh
seen
my
that.
god, that shit is so hilarious.
How many Z's do you give that one?
I give that 4.
Wow. We'll
Because
edit
it's
that
not.
out.
Because you know what? That movie was like inspiring. Like after that ending.
Well,
like,
yeah, because like I'm sure they don't show a guy get stabbed in the head.
Well, yeah, but it's light and it's a satire on the thing that we just watched.
Yeah. Kind of
And-
like, is it like what's that one? Spinal Tap?
Yeah.
Is it like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what exactly what.
The bases on there.
Yeah.
He paints his face and he has antlers.
Oh my god.
There's a scene where they have this speed cam
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, dude, we're gonna go there and take picture.
Take picture.
And then guy dresses up like the dude from Kiss and the antlers.
Oh my god.
And the guy, the drummer, gets in his van and does 100. And then they take a picture, and then you see the picture. It's like, that's dope.
Is it subtitle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sometimes. So you have to watch it. Well, at some points they break and they talk English.
Okay. They talk
They
English.
talk English, yeah.
They talk English.
But yeah, it's just that. So I just had to incorporate everything like that because my real rating would be a 3.
Okay.
But
I'm gonna go with your real rating.
Okay, my real rate
3 out of 5.
Yeah, 3 out of 5 Z.
Okay.
But just on the biopic alone, it'd be 2. But that would be that's it. Yeah.
I can't stop thinking how it would have been different if Caleb was in it. Like I just can't let that go.
Yeah.
After
Unless he was playing dead, then I honestly think if you played dead, that'd be a thankless role.
You know, that I will say that was one thing about this. I know, and it was mostly about Euronymous, but I do wish they did show more of Dead. I do. I feel like that was cut really short. You know?
He just shows up and then he's gone.
Yeah, literally. Like, I do wish they showed more of
Isn't
that.
that kind of how it happened though?
Not that
He
quick.
wasn't-
No, I think he was with
wasn't
the
that
band
quick.
for like 3 years.
Or like a year at least.
Because there's actually something that says of Dead articles and it says from like 1980 something.
Because he was in a
80.
band before that.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, and then he sent his tape in, and then
Well,
he's
that's
like,
probably what it meant then. That's probably
oh,
what it meant then.
But I know, like was it a year? I know it wasn't like 2 days. You know what I mean? Like they made it seem so quick, but I guess they had to get to that to show, you know, the record shop and the church burnings and all that. They had to get to that pretty quickly, but Yeah, that is one thing, but I just can't escape like, oh, Caleb, how that would have impacted it. Because I really want him and Rory to do a film together. I think that'd be really great.
Yeah, that would be good.
Does it say? Are you looking it up?
Oh, he died in 91.
90. Wasn't he 20? Yeah, he was 22 when he
22.
died. And Euronymous was only 25.
How long was he with them?
So he joined the band, then moved to Norway and joined them in 89.
Also, a couple years
So
he
he
was
died
with
in
them.
91.
Yeah, it's like 2 years.
Yeah.
Right? That'd be 2 years,
Well,
right?
depends on an 89.
It says early 89.
And
Doesn't
then
give
when
us
did
that
he
day. April 91.
Yeah.
April 8th.
Roughly 2 years.
So that'd be 2 years.
Another thing, too, I read is that supposedly Dead was starting to get annoyed with Euronymous and they weren't getting along. They didn't really show that in the film either. That would have been interesting to see.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about him. Yeah, it doesn't say anything about him getting into it with Euronymous.
There's a couple articles I read.
Okay, so Wikipedia, source of info nowadays. All right, well, that's our review of Lords of Chaos, or our just thoughts on Lords of Chaos, really.
Yeah.
I might be wrong about Purple Rain, I want to say. I don't know for sure.
Are you looking it up right now?
It's all your fault.
I don't know. I heard that, but
Okay,
I don't know
let's go to Google.
Oh my God.
I just remembered.
I've never seen that movie, actually.
You've never seen Purple
What?
Rain?
I've only seen the music videos. I've never seen the actual movie.
Purple Rain. God, there was this one. So the
1984.
year Prince died, everybody was like karaokeing Prince. And I kept seeing the same group of people at different bars singing Purple Rain, all drunk. And I'm like, these guys need to end this. It was like for a long time they were doing that too.
A quasi-biographical character.
Quasi.
Quasi. So what's quasi mean?
Like roughly?
Roughly?
Like not 100%.
I don't know.
Yeah, the kid,
I
a
do know,
quasi-biographical character, was developed to showcase Prince's talents, and the film contains several contra sequences. You
know what they're also trying to do? The guy that was in Beast, he's going to be playing David Bowie.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait.
And his son, Duncan Jones.
Johnny Flynn?
Yeah. Duncan Jones, David
For
Bowie.
a moment there, I thought you were talking about X-Men Beast.
No. From the blonde guy. He's playing like a young David Bowie, and Duncan Jones, who was David Bowie's son, is like, I'm sure they don't have the rights to this. I don't know why they're doing it. But supposedly that's what's happening. Because I've been waiting for a David Bowie movie for like ever, too.
Honestly, I think people need to stop making biopics about musicians and just...
Who's your favorite rap artist?
Rap artist?
Yeah.
Ice-T.
What if they did another biopic on Ice-T?
Oh, they did. It's called D-Jack City.
Was it bad?
No, I'm kidding. It's
Oh.
but that is a real movie. That is a real movie.
Oh, okay.
That he was in. No, I wouldn't want to see that, honestly. They did 8 Mile on Eminem, and I fucking hated that movie. I thought it was stupid. It's
really?
Like, yeah, 8 Mile. I thought that was I thought that was a dumb movie. I really thought it was a dumb movie. Like,
a lot of people liked that.
Yeah, because they liked it because it was a rap battle. But I didn't care for it. I think Hustle and Flow is the superior hip hop.
Because that's not like It's not exactly about someone.
But it's an allegory.
Yeah,
it is. It's based on someone.
But it's not like the name.
It's
and
not
like
the
all
name,
that.
but it's about someone that's trying to break from the local scene onto the mainstream. You know.
It's interesting because Gus Van Sant kind of did that with Kurt. He did a movie, Michael Pitt.
Last Days.
Yeah, and that's like his last days on Earth. But so that kind of, it wasn't Kurt, but it was Kurt. You know what I mean?
Based on Kurt. Yeah.
Yeah. So I like it when they do that too, because that way you won't get so like.
I honestly feel like
offended.
Yeah, this is like drifting on. Okay, we're done with Lords of Chaos now, so we're gonna do that. But if you want to keep listening, keep listening. I will say this, like, when it comes to biopics, I don't like them, but when they base it on someone and don't say that it's a real story, and just kind of heighten, like, the drama or the characters,
yeah,
I much prefer that.
What about when they do it with, like, actors or actresses?
I don't mind as long as if they can pull the job. As long as they can do it. I don't like it when musicians come on and try to act, and then it just takes me out of the film. It's like I know you're not like Purple Rain. It's probably why I didn't watch Purple Rain because of Prince. Like
Prince was good in it though.
Was he?
Yeah, he was
Again,
good.
I haven't watched the movie, but I did see the music videos.
He was decent. Yeah, it wasn't like god awful.
Because I just know there were concert sequences, and then there was like the Doves Cry video was in there,
And he also basically played himself. I mean, that's all I thought in watching it.
Yeah, he played himself.
That he played himself. I think that's why I thought it was his biography of his life as a teenager when I saw it. I was like,
yeah.
Well, it was developed to showcase his talents according to IMDb. So
IMDb.
I don't know, like when they base it around someone and don't say who it's based on, I like that. Like Hustle and Flow, I like that movie.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really good movie, and that movie inspires me. You know, every time I watch it, I get inspired and I write or like I get like I'm gonna go do something. You know, because it's one of those movies that just kind of kicks you in the ass.
Yeah.
You know, so it's just like but when you base it on real people, it's hard because that. When
it's
you
that
have,
fine line.
When you have fanatics like us,
yeah, I know.
You know, we're like, nope, that's not what happened.
Because we're so critical and we think we know them and like everything that happened, like, you know, like we're historians.
It's like we have a relationship with them. It's like, you know,
they're my pillowcase. I kiss them every night before I go to bed.
And so I don't know, like when they're, I don't know. I don't know. I forgot my train of thought. Never mind.
You just
Continue.
don't. You don't prefer it. You prefer if it's like a bait or, you know, inspired by it.
Like surreal. If
yeah.
It's surreal. Like I don't care. Like if today I wrote a script about a rapper that blew up.
Yeah.
But not based on anyone. I would like that because then you could do so much fun things with him.
That's true. You don't have to have rights to it or you don't have to have permission.
Yeah, you could do so many fun things. You can make him the way you want to make him. You can put him in situations that he shouldn't be in.
Yeah.
You know, and it's funny because my friend Paul saw Fighting with My Family. And I was like, you know what? They were talking about doing a Vince McMahon movie. And I'm like, you know what? I'd go see that if they come out and say, this movie is about as true as wrestling gets. Because there's like sequences, like he wrote a script and it says like there's a sequence where he met his wife at a strip club.
Oh my God.
Which didn't happen. But then he gets up and he hits like the Undertaker or something like that. It's like, I'd go see that movie.
Wow.
Just the fact that, you know, it's all based on lies. I'd definitely go see that because that'd be a gimmick. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I do want to see Funny with My Family though because I love the director, Stephen Merchant. He's so hilarious. I love him. I was like, when I heard he was directing this, I was shocked. I'm like, he doesn't do any wrestling. Like, he's like a nerdy comic, you know?
Yeah, I think that's his directional debut, isn't it?
Could be. Did you ever watch Hello Ladies?
No.
He was great in that. He was really funny. But yeah, it's tricky. It's
kind of like what they did with Glow.
Glow?
Yeah, Glow.
The
Glow.
ladies
of wrestling,
which was excellent.
I didn't get to see that yet.
Good.
Yeah, with Glow,
based roughly quasi.
Yeah,
quasi. That's the word of the day.
Quasimodo.
Yeah, and with Glow is like, but they tell you up front, it's like, well, because we know how Glow ends, but I don't know. Shit, that's a good thing. You brought that up, and I didn't even think about that. Because we just watched a documentary about that too.
It wasn't exact, but
no, it wasn't exact. No,
roughly on the women that were involved.
Yeah, the gorgeous ladies of wrestling.
That was really good. That was a good series.
I was. Hold on. Let me see if he directed anything.
I think some wrestler was the. What do you call when someone marries you? What's that word? You like ordain a wedding. What's the word for that? You know when someone marries you. What is there? Is it ordained? I guess. Anyway, I thought like a wrestler.
Elope.
No. When you're the person, you're the person that's marrying people. But you're not a priest. You're
ordained.
That's what is it ordained?
Yeah, it's ordained minister. Yeah.
I want to say, hold on, because Rory Culkin got married and some wrestling guy did ordain them.
Oh,
that's funny.
I'm trying to find out who it was.
It'd be hilarious if it was the Undertaker.
I don't think it's the Undertaker.
That'd be great.
Of course, my service is slow right now.
Like, your marriage will now rest in peace.
Wow.
That's hilarious.
Let me see. Who's Paul Hyman?
Paul Heyman.
Heyman.
He's
Paul
Paul
Heyman, not Hyman.
Heyman. He was promoter, booker, and developer at ECW.
He's the one that did it.
Yeah. Oh,
Their
okay.
wedding. Yeah, it's funny because they like recorded it.
All right.
So Rory must be a wrestling fan, I guess.
Maybe, or maybe his girlfriend is.
Maybe.
All right. Well, that's our show. This one will be up on Thursday. We're gonna take a break next week because we got Irish folklores to look up, and so
To celebrate St. Patrick's Day.
and we both are
Irish.
kind of self-conscious because we both want to sound smart. So
Yeah, it's gonna take some
need-
research.
especially me.
Oh,
so-
not me, no.
And so
You're asking too much, John.
yeah, right. So we're gonna take that break, but hopefully we got 2 episodes for you to get you through the week, and we'll be back on the 16th, and we'll see you then. All right.
right.
Till then,
Stay scary.
bye.
Bye.